head-on by a man travelling more than 65 miles per hour on the wrong side of the road. Now, 10 days before this, the same driver that killed Tim had crashed into a stationary vehicle when he'd also been intoxicated with drink and drugs. But remarkably, he was allowed to drive again whilst he was on bail.
Tim's sister, Linzi Stewart, is calling on the government to toughen the laws around dangerous driving, and she's with us now alongside Chris Seaton, who is advocating for better drug drive testing. Linzi, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
It must be really, to lose your brother in such a way has got to be horrific, but to know that one fairly straightforward decision could have prevented it, and it could have stopped what happened. That must be quite hard to accept.
Well, when we found out that, excuse me, Tim was killed by a repeat offender, we just felt horrified. Why was this man not remanded in custody? Why didn't he have any bail conditions placed on him? Why did he still have a driving licence? It's just absolutely shocking.
So just tell us what actually happened then. So where was Tim going and what actually happened that day?
Tim was going with his girlfriend to buy a new car. He was in the passenger seat, she was driving, plodding along quite slow, and the offender came on their side of the road, overtook a van on a blind bend and smashed straight into them head on. And Tim died within about a minute of multiple injuries. So yeah, Wendy, his girlfriend, had serious injuries which she's still recovering from.
And he was a dad?
He was a dad, a 15-year-old daughter who's just doing her GCSEs. She's working really hard to make him proud.
Yeah. And so tell us, when were you told about the history of the driver who had killed your brother?
I think it was a couple of months later because the police can't disclose everything to us.
And what did they say?
They just said that he had a crash 10 days previously and our jaws just dropped. Why was he on the road? Tim's death was completely preventable, especially with him having a previous conviction in 2021 of drug driving as well. So you've got a repeat offender here. And you're hearing these stories all the time at the moment in the news of people being bailed after dangerous driving, and really something needs to be done. We're calling
and so revoking a licence at that point, if somebody's it seems like this person had a death wish, either for himself or others, right? He's a totally reckless human being, really, out of control person. So revoking a licence even after one incident, I suspect, might not have stopped this person from getting behind a wheel again. What is the law change that you're looking for? And we'll come to you in a moment, Chris, about how what you do fits into what you want, Linzi.
Well, the reason why he was free to get back behind the wheel is because the police have to wait for a blood test result sample to come back from the lab if they're positive for drugs at the side of the road.
So drink drive, you can get the breathalyzer test.
Yeah.
But for drugs, there isn't one roadside.
For drugs, they have to wait for the test result to come back from the lab. So they're free to get back behind the wheel while they're waiting for the result of the blood test. So he got back behind the wheel and Tim is dead because of it. So in France and Australia, they have a system with an evidential saliva sample test where they take the sample at the side of the road, and if it's positive, the offender can be charged and prosecuted within 2 or 3 days.
Where is this? This is
France and Australia, much far better system, which we could really do with that in this country. Do you think we could get that here, Chris?
Yeah, well, that's what we're asking for. I think that Linzi just mentioned that evidential saliva, and at the moment you take a roadside screen which is saliva-based. You then have to go, if you're positive, you go back to the police station to have your bloods taken. That process can take up to 6 months, and the suspect is able to drive during that period. So you've got someone on the road that's suspected of drink driving. Once the bloods come back, you can then go through the court and you can be charged and you lose your licence for a minimum of 12 months. Saliva, as Linzi just said, is used in Australia and France. That process, the process of actually analysing saliva is a lot quicker and easier than bloods. And
equally reliable? Is it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, forensically as secure as blood. And as Linzi said, it's successful in Australia and France, and very, very small number of reoffending in both of those countries.
Because the justice process is sped up, essentially.
Indeed, absolutely.
So are you saying that what should have happened is that perhaps this test was done and then they put him behind bars there and then, awaiting an appearance in front of a judge within the next 48? Is that what you're saying? What are you going to be... Because you have actually been in contact with the Home Office, haven't you? Tell us what happened yesterday.
I've written to the Home Secretary asking this critical issue to be debated in Parliament, and she responded to me late last night saying that I'm invited to discuss it with the Policing Minister about law changes regarding dangerous drivers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what exactly they would be, whether that would be revoking licences, remanding offenders until they're dealt with at the time so they don't become repeat offenders.
So keeping them behind bars until the results of those tests come back, or that they go in front of a court? I mean, because we know the justice system is slow and our prisons are full. So there'll be a lot of pushback. Morally, of course, people will be on your side, but one will wonder how on earth.
Well, if this offender had been dealt with 10 days previously, possibly had a short jail sentence or his punishment, Tim would still be alive. He wouldn't be in jail now for 12 years. All the lives wouldn't be destroyed if he'd have been dealt with at the time.
Tags, curfews.
Yeah, just something.
And just give me the example of what happens briefly in Australia and France. What is it actually done there?
Yeah, so the saliva sample is sent away for laboratory testing in the same way that our bloods are in the UK. That comes back a lot quicker, and then they're able to charge the driver and remove that driver from the road. So it's exactly what we need here in the UK. We need to speed the system up.
Yeah.
We have to be very proportionate and realistic about, how quickly we can do that, but we can do it a lot quicker than we are doing presently. And just to point out that in the last 10 years, there's 33,000 drug drivers that have reoffended. 3,500 of those have reoffended 4 or more times, and 54 of those have reoffended 10 or more times. So the deterrent is clearly not there. It's clearly something that people just think they can get away with.
Chris, thank you so much. And Linzi, we say this all the time, but it's so brave of you to come on and talk about this. You must miss Tim incredibly.
Terribly. I'm one of 5, very close, large family, and we all miss him beyond words.
Well, you're doing him proud, and what you're doing now is in his honour and in his name, and I think it's amazing, and good luck.
Yeah, we wish his daughter well.
Thank you.
It's very difficult. She's got a loving family around her. So.
Thank you, she has.
Yeah, good.
In a statement, the Department of Transport said there are already strict penalties in place for those who are caught drug driving. We are working closely with policing partners to improve efficiency while ensuring the integrity of results that support prosecutions. Our roads are among the safest in the world, but we're committed to improving road safety.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the penalty, it's the speed of getting there, isn't it, that you're wanting to shorten that time. Now, look, if you've been affected by any of the issues we've been discussing, you can find advice and support at itv.com/helplines.